Good evening, fellow crafters. Welcome back. This is your Hello Queen speaking. And today what I'm going to do, because I desperately want to get at that Diamond Art Club one that just showed up, is I'm going to de-kit Jack at the Gates, which is the one I've been working on. Finished it a few days ago. Started taking over Jack and Sally because Emily wasn't that interested, but we'll get into that. First, okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be de-kitting my 28 count because because I still have Jack and Sally kitted up, which Emily's kind of half-heartedly working on. I have this kitted up. I have some projects that are hopefully going to be showing up soon that both Emily and Caitlin will be able to work on. And I want to kit up I Am. So I need to de-kit this so that it's ready in case the projects for the kids come along. So first part of de-kitting, take off Jack at the Gates. I'm going to be eventually doing a post review, but as you can see, I've still got lots of drills left over. I didn't run out of anything for this one. I'm going to wait until I have a couple of the Nightmare Before Christmas ones done before I do a full post review. But let's start with the de-kitting. And while we're doing this, I'm going to do this, which is the Get to Know Me tag. Since we haven't talked a whole lot about me, I'm going to try this out and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so let's put these into more or less order. Okay, so the first question is, what is your favorite way to spend your weekend? Oh, my favorite way to spend a weekend is not working. I work in a job where I would normally be working on weekends. So not working and in my PJs like all day. I am a homebody. I would far rather be at home. I'm going to take these all the way out of the package. 168. Do I have 168? 169 and Blanc. So new. Okay. So yeah, I'm a homebody. I'd far rather be at home in my PJs than just about anywhere else. Although a really awesome weekend would be, let's go out and do something fun for the first day, like go to an amusement park or go do some apple picking. Yes, I do that. Or go to a comic convention or do something outgoing for this Saturday and then spend Sunday in my PJs doing crafty stuff, being cozy, watching a movie, and recovering from all of that extroverted energy that I've just output. Because that would probably be 168. The best thing. It gives me the best of both worlds. It gives me a day where I'm out and doing something fun, but still some time to kind of rest and recuperate and get back to get ready for the work week, which I don't really have a work week because I tend to work weird things. Like this week I worked Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So even though today is Tuesday, because my husband got off work early because of the rain, he works on a golf course, so if it's miserable, he goes home. They don't stick around. It felt like a Saturday. In fact, I keep having to remind myself that it's Tuesday because it's felt like a Saturday. All day. 224. Do I 225 and 211. Oh, I was going to keep track. That was one thing I wasn't doing on the last bead kitting I did, was I want to keep track of what I have on here. So let's do that one here. Blanc. I have in round. Pretty much up to 150 is not going to be in there. 168 I just put in. This is going to be 224. That color and that there are very different. Maybe this isn't the best chart. Okay, yeah, so my best weekend would be go out with my family, do something fun, maybe rope in some friends along with it. Actually, my best weekend would start with Friday night D&D. Friday night is our D&D night. That's why you don't see me in Miss Crochet and Coffee's lives very often, because Friday night we play D&D. And that's just our thing. It's how I met my husband. It's what we enjoy doing. It's a lot of fun. This is 224. Oh, and a brief overview in case this is the first of my de-kitting videos you've watched, of which I have a whole two. I'm using the system set up by 4Kids at 147 with a few twists of my own. This is a photo box with some foam board channels in it. Mine is a little different in hers in that when she started hers out, she already had stickers with all the DMC numbers. So she just took them from where she had them and put them and made enough of these cards to just put them on, one on each, and had them all to start out with. Whereas since I didn't have that to start out with, I'm putting in the DMC numbers as I have them. The first several of my paintings did not come with DMC numbers, so I've got some in here that have asterisks. That means that that's the color that I thought it on the chart it was the closest to. So that's how that works. Hang on a second, I hear a small person moving in the next room. It was not the destructive one. All is good. And she heard me.
The destructive one is actually trying to go to sleep.
Good. Sleep is good. Okay. So yeah, my favorite way to spend a weekend would be Friday night gaming, wake up late Saturday morning, go out, do something outgoing with the family, go to like a theme park or something like that, something to do with friends, maybe even have some friends along, do with the family, maybe even have some friends along with us. Emily, you are not supposed to be in here.
Okay.
Go find something else to do. Because when you're here, I talk to you. And that's fun, but I want to try something new. So, my favorite way to spend a weekend would be play D&D until dark 100, wake up late, do something fun with the family for Saturday, tumble into bed, and then the next day kind of have a day to rest and recuperate and do some crafting, probably with the kids, and basically be home buddies and PJs all day. That would be my favorite way to spend a weekend. But typically I work weekends, so what can you do? Okay, question number 2. What type of music are you into? That's probably better asked, what type of music aren't you into? I like music. I like music that I can sing most of anything. So I mean, I like pop music, I like soul, I like R&B, I like a lot of different music. If I can sing along with it or I can dance along with it, I will probably enjoy it. And that is not limited to stuff you would hear on the radio. I'm also big into show tunes. I love opera's a little more esoteric, but I love musicals. Like, I am one of the people who is in a complete lather that Disney Plus is putting Hamilton out in the next week or so, because I will be right there. I probably have most of it memorized anyway. Okay, I do have 225 in here, I think. Yes, I do. Let's see what my idea of 225 was. That's actually not that far off. That's what I had thought 225 was, and that's what 225 from this kit was. So they do look a little different, but they're not that far off. So I'm going to leave that one as 225. 225-R. Oh, I'm going to remove that because that's going to be wrong. That is 225. I don't need the asterisk. 225-R. The asterisk just means that it didn't have a DMC codes, but this is the closest color I figure it is. I may eventually go back through all of the ones that I have asterisks on and see about classing them better, but that's a project for another day. Not today. So yes, I've sung my whole life. I've loved to sing. I've been in major choirs. I even toured Europe as part of a traveling choir. So that is pretty much it. So pretty much if I can sing it or dance to it, I will enjoy it. I don't get into rap as much, probably because you can't really sing that, but there are some good rap tunes out there that are great to dance to. So, not generally, but such things do exist. Okay, so the next one is actually 310. I think it's 310 and an actual 310. This whole thing was full of 310. It was 2 large packages, and these little quadrants can't fit a whole very full package into. So I end up having to have 4 packages of 310. This painting is very black. Nightmare Before Christmas. What do you really expect? So, what was the best vacation you ever took and why? Probably the last tour of Europe I did. I'm going to actually qualify that. I'm going to say the last tour of Europe I took and the trip we took for my sister's wedding. The last tour of Europe I took with 2 of my best friends. We were seeing new things. We were singing with the choir, which was always fun. I always enjoyed that. We got to see France, which I hadn't seen before. The tour was Germany, Holland, and France. But I'd been 4 years earlier on a tour of Germany and Holland. So France was the new part for me. And it was awesome. We got to see new things. We were all heading in different directions after that tour. I was moving to a nearby city where where the man who is now my husband, he was my live-in boyfriend at the time, was working. And I was planning, I had a couple credits left to get in high school, so I was planning on signing up to be in the high school that was in this town. That didn't end up working out, but that's an entirely different story. Another friend had graduated high school and was moving on and going to college, and the third friend was doing sort of a victory lap to get the last couple credits she needed, which was very common. So she was staying put, and both me and Jackie were moving on. So it was kind of our last hurrah as friends. 317. Don't see anything there. No, 318 is the next one. So it was the group of us. We just had a great time. I got to know the man who's now Jackie's husband better. He, on the sly, actually proposed to her on the Eiffel Tower. But probably her parents know this by now because it was so long ago. I mean, they still had the countdown to the year 2000 on the Eiffel Tower when I went, so that gives you an idea how long ago this was. Actually, that gives you a 100% pinpoint as to how long ago this was. This is the summer of '99. She wasn't yet 18, so, and he was my age, he was 20. So, oh, for crying out loud. $317, not $318. $318 I have. Or at least it looks like I have. $317. These are actually the Diamond Art Club bags. I'm using them first just because they happen to be here on my table. $317. And that's that. But it was me and my two best friends, and yes, there was other obligations we had, and there were other people along with us, and it wasn't perfect, but we got to hang out together as friends that last summer before we kind of parted ways. Now we've come back together and parted ways many times since then, but that was us coming into adulthood in many ways. Mark off 317. 17. Okay. You're not really seeing. Let me pause for a second and adjust this camera angle here. Okay, let's try that for a bit. See how that works out. Yep, that might work better. Okay. Where am I? The other one that was a lot of fun was my sister's wedding. My sister decided she didn't want to do any of this wedding planning bullcrap. She wanted to do a destination wedding, which, if you know my sister, was perfect for her. She and her husband are more laid back, go with the flow. They're not big into the prissy stuff. So that worked out perfect for them. So they decided they were going to go down to Jamaica and get married and have a big thing. And they actually did it as kind of a double wedding with his best friend and his fiance, who's actually my second cousin. And since our families were all so close, that was why they decided to make a double wedding. That way they could relax and have a good time. I mean, my sister was down by the pool in the morning, and then about noon, went back up to her room, had a shower, blow dried her hair, got into her wedding dress, and got married. That was what my sister wanted. So it worked out really lovely. But because it was such a huge gathering of family and friends, and we were all in Jamaica and having a good time, it was a lot of fun. And it probably would have been more fun if I didn't have a 5-month-old at the time, which I did. Emily was 5 months old. There would have been a lot more that we could do, but we still had fun. Emily learned how to roll over while we were down there, and then would wake us up in the middle of the night shrieking because she didn't know how to get back on her back. She would only learn how to roll from her back to her stomach. Okay, so this is 336, 327, 353. So I don't have 336. So, but she had all of her aunts and cousins, and my sister married into the family of a close family friend of ours. So I've known her in-laws since I was old enough to talk. Probably actually before then, because her husband's parents and my parents have been friends since before they had kids. So it was such a close-knit gathering that even though it was a huge group of people, and I am not good with a lot of people a lot of the time, it was so much fun because it was people who I was comfortable around. Shoot. Is that 336? Yeah. R. So that's those 2 trips, the week down in Jamaica and the 3-week tour of Germany, Holland, France with my best friends in the world, were probably the 2 best trips I've ever been on. Oh, yeah, those were good times, for sure. What's the next place on your travel bucket list and why? Oh, good God. Well, I try not to think too much about travel because I really can't afford to. Travel bucket list. Probably Italy. I would love to go see Italy. I am a history nerd. I would love to see Roman ruins and all of that stuff. And I would love to see Pompeii. As morbid as that may sound, that is something that I would love to do. I don't know if my husband would want to do that. That may be something that I do with my mother because she has always wanted to see it too. I think she actually did see it when they went to Italy. Did she go? I don't recall. I'm 336 off. Okay, 414. Do I have 414? I do have 414. It's a question mark though, so 414-R. So I don't need those. I need one of these. Probably Italy, although there's so many places. I mean, I worked for a hotel company for 4 years, so there's a lot of places I would love to see. And some of that is just, the pictures looked stunning, and some of that is just, I have read so much about this place that I want to see it. I want to know what's going on there. And the stunning, I think I can convince my husband to go on. The history, I'm not so sure I could. My husband has no sense of history. I find it fascinating. I probably should have been a historian. But there's a lot of probably should have beens in my life. And 4 is marked off. Excellent. Good thing these things don't open on their own. Okay. 436. No, I go from 414 to 472. So 436 is definitely new. Okay. If I had to pick a travel destination, oh, one of those bags. On to the Dollarama bags. From my years as a Starwood representative, probably Bora Bora. The overwater bungalows in Bora Bora. It would mean I could spend like 99% of my time with my husband in the water, surrounded by beautiful countryside. Yeah, Bora Bora. But that would be a kid-free destination. That would have to be him and me. I can't fathom taking my 8 and 12-year-olds along on that. That would be a kid-free destination. So, way down. What are your hobbies and how did you get into them? Oh God, how much time do we have? What are my hobbies? Well, diamond painting. Diamond painting I got into after a lot of drinking a couple days before my birthday. But I had kind of been eyeing 436. I had been kind of interested in it for several months before then. My birthday, for frame of reference, is May 3rd, so. But I have several coworkers who are into it, so I had heard of it for a while and had thought about it and then was advertised a lot too and had a lot of wine a few days before my birthday and decided I was going to buy something for myself. And here we are 50 projects later with most of them still in the air. Yeah, I figured something to keep me grounded because this pandemic has not been kind to my mental well-being. We'll put it that way. 498. I cannot have 498. On top of that, I am a Halloween nut, which goes right along with the channel name. And I have a lot of crafts that I do. I pretty much just make what I want. So I would never call myself a woodworker or a foam smith or anything like that. I figure out what I want to make. I figure out how to make it, and then I make it. Which is probably why my crafts cost me so much damn money. I could just stay in the same vein and I'd be much better off. But I mean, I make headstones for my lawn, and I make paper mache pumpkins, and I've done Christmas crafts and all kinds of things. I've also recently taken up cross stitch, although one day of cross stitching on one pattern I don't think makes me a cross stitcher. I have done canning as a hobby, although most of the canned goods that we have we don't end up eating, so although that could also be a function of the depression, I don't feel like cooking most of the time. to. This is like therapy hour. One of my main hobbies used to be cake decorating. That's actually taken over as my job, so I don't really do that so much as a hobby, although I do still make cakes at home for the kids and for Brian occasionally. I enjoyed the decorating, not so much the baking and the making of the icing and all that stuff, so I get lazy at home because I don't want to make the icing and I don't want to have to tint the icing and I don't want to have to bake the thing to do it, and I get lazy at home. I don't want to do that. There's other things. I play D&D once a week. I video game, although not as much as I used to. 500. Do I have 500? No, I have 522. 500. 500-R. And I read, and I sing. I've got lots of hobbies. What was your favorite age growing up? My favorite age growing up. That's going to be very flavored by my children now, I think. '17 was fun and painful. I still think a lot of the problems I had at 17 was the fact that 17 was kind of an ominous number for me. My mother lost her mother on her 17th birthday. 16 was good. 16 was good. But once I hit 17, I felt like, okay, I was good and nobody died, so I think I can act out now. I met my husband at 17. '16 was good. I was on honor roll. I was involved in everything. I was in band and cheerleading and everything. Yeah, I'd have to say grade 10, which really isn't an age. And I know my age and some of these things is going to be a little distorted. My educational history is storied. We'll put it that way. But yeah, grade 10 was probably my best year. I was on the honor roll. I was involved in everything. I was involved in girls athletics. I was on the cheerleading team. I was on the ski team. I was in band and choir, and that was the year that I went on my first tour. Do I have 597? I don't. 597-R. But yeah, that year I was in everything. I was busy all the time. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, every morning for school, because I had so many things going on that I had to be there early for that stuff. I barely had lunch hours. I had my two best friends were with me. I would say the year I was 16, the year I was in grade 10, was probably my favorite. Number 7. Was the last thing you read digitally or in print? I actually haven't been reading much lately. I almost exclusively read digitally these days. I'm trying to remember what the last thing I read was. I have been trying unsuccessfully to get through Stephen King's The Stand lately, and that was a bad choice of book for this time right now, because it just feels like I'm pushing through the horror personally, and it's not a good look. I think I'm going to switch off that. What was the last thing I read? Yeah, I've been trying to slog through the Stephen King for a while, and it's made me not want to read because I don't want to stop reading it, but I don't want to read it either, so yeah. Okay, 666. Yeah, those are close enough. This one I actually have, and it is definitively the right color. It's from Pokemon, and the shades are close enough that I can't tell the difference, so we'll go with that. I cannot remember the last thing that I read. That's really bad. That tells you how long it's been since I finished a book. I need to stop reading The Stand. I need to move on to something else, something that's a little better for my mental health. I did pick up the newest book that Suzanne Collins put out for The Hunger Games, which is a prequel, and my daughter has already read it because she's read the Hunger Games books, and I think I'm going to start reading that tonight. That will be in print because I picked it up kind of as a surprise for her, and that is one thing that is kind of harder to do digitally, is the whole excitement of getting a new book. So she read it and she enjoyed it, so I think I will do the same. Why am I labeling a bag and I'm not even sure what I'm putting in here? Okay, so that page is done. Didn't check off 500. I know I had 500. Oh boy. I'm too busy chatting and not paying attention. 522. 522, 524. 554. 597, which is turquoise. I thought that looked kind of turquoisey. And 739. 739. 10 ultra very light. It's pretty light. I'll give them that. 739. Nope, I don't have that. So I'm going to mark it off here. 739. And okay, so would you say that you're more of an extrovert or an introvert? I'm definitely more of an introvert. If the definition of extrovert versus introvert is extroverts gain energy from being around people and introverts gain energy from being alone, I am definitely an introvert. I'm not shy. I will talk to people, but I find being around people, unless they're people that I'm very comfortable with, to be very draining. And I need to retreat and decompress. And my husband is also an introvert, although he's not nearly as outgoing an introvert as I am. I know that's a contradiction in terms. He is shy, I am not. But we're both introverts. And our oldest daughter is an introvert, but our youngest, little Caitlin, is an extrovert. And this pandemic has been the hardest on her. 743, medium yellow. And I don't have it in here. Do not. 742, 746. 743, 743-R. So not shy, but definitely not an extrovert. If I'm out with people for a long period of time, I need some time to just sit at my computer and like scroll through Facebook and ignore the world for a while to feel rested and recover. When I get home from work, I work in a retail setting. I need to be by myself or just be with my husband or my kids or whatever have you and recoup and decompress. It's not that I don't like being with people, it's that I find being with people draining. Even sometimes being around my husband and my kids is more than I can handle if it's for too long at a time. Like, I love it after if I have a day off and the kids are going to school, then I have the whole house to myself, and it's fantastic. And it's not that I don't like being around my kids, I do, but being by myself is nice. I like it. And I don't get it very often anymore. 743. That goes up to 779. That's empty. 823. I think I may already have that, even though it doesn't show up on my list. 818, 839. Okay, maybe I don't. 823. I know, I've got a lot in the painting that I'm working on now. But yeah, 8. What's your favorite ice cream topping? Oh, caramel. Caramel. Definitely. Definitely caramel. What's the last show you binge watched? What did I last binge watch? I know I binge watched The Haunting of Hill House recently, but was that the last thing I binge watched? It might be. That's fantastic, by the way, even if you're not normally a horror fan, which surprisingly I'm not, because it deals with, I'm not usually in it for jump scare stakes. I like character development and all that stuff, and a lot of horror movies are pretty throwaway when it comes to that stuff. They're basically in it just to scare you, whereas Haunting of Hill House, which is on Netflix, is a very in-depth study of the Crane family and their characters and all the really strange, messed up crap that went on in their lives. And it's really good. Is that the last thing I binge watched? Yeah, I think it probably is. I've watched documentaries and watched movies and stuff, but I don't think I've watched any shows more recently than that. There we go. Got that. Okay, now we're in the 37s. So 3721. Past the 900s. 3607, 3713, 3716, and then 3721, 3731, no, 3716, which has nothing behind it. It's weird. 3716 goes to 3721. Okay. 3731 rather. It's 3716. It's a Dusty Rose. Wonder why it's not in there. Maybe it slid under something. That's the only problem I have with these, is sometimes, because the bags tend to be bottom heavy, is sometimes they slide underneath stuff. 3721, 3721-R. And the dash R is just for round. Not that I've had squares. Even my Diamond Art Club is around. That was not a choice to avoid squares. That was just the ones that have arrived have not been square. And the canvas that I liked was not square. Diamond Art Club doesn't give you the option. Certain canvases are available in round and certain canvases are available in square, and it really depends on what you order. Okay, 3721-R. Shell pink, it's called. Dark shell pink. Okay. Sit. Let's take the sticker off here. We've got a stray drill. Are you into podcasts or do you only listen to music? It's question 11. Generally I don't listen to music. If I'm going to be doing something by myself, I will generally listen to podcasts over music. Something to stimulate my brain. I'm big into the How Stuff Works podcast, particularly Stuff You Missed in History Class is a favorite. Okay, this is 3770. 3747, 3802. So no, I don't have 3770 or any of these other ones. 3770. 3770-R. are. But yeah, stuff you missed in history class is great. They go in depth in a topic. The episodes are about half an hour to 40 minutes long. I binge those when I'm doing stuff, like when I when I put new flooring in the kids' room. The kids would be out watching TV or whatever have you, and I would be in their room on my hands and knees, laying down planks, listening to podcasts. Watching TV or playing video games. We have a few video game systems, so 3770 goes in there. 3770 Tawny Very Light. Yep, that follows. If I'm doing something and we want background noise with the kids, like we're doing homework or whatever have you, or we're cleaning, then the podcast would bore them, so I'll put music on. 37. That I'm never sure what the content's going to be, so some of the ones that I listen to are probably a little disturbing for young minds. There's a lot of tragedies and disasters, and not everything that makes, quite frequently what makes history is not fun. Six. But yes, I love me some podcasts. Maybe one day I'll do a podcast. Seven. Okay. Favorite 12. Do you have a favorite holiday? That should be self-evident. My favorite holiday is Halloween. It's when my husband and I got married. It has always been my favorite. Always. Always, always, right from when I was a kid. And I found out not that long ago that I probably wouldn't exist were it not for Halloween, because my grandparents, one set of my grandparents met at a Halloween party. Now, this isn't a very large community, so it's possible they could have met another way, but it's one of those Back to the Future, fish under the sea things. 37.99, 37.99 dash R. They met at a Halloween dance, and my grandfather, apparently, his parents did sharecropping, so he got his mother to hire my grandmother on to help out with the kitchen to help out in the kitchen to feed all the farm hands and the like, so that he could be around her more. But yes, my favorite, it's probably because it has the least obligations. And it's such a departure from the norm. You get to celebrate the things that scare you. You get to pretend to be something that you aren't. There's an energy about Halloween that I've always enjoyed. It's me. I've always loved Halloween. And yes, I am the crazy lady who has the cemetery in front of her house for 2 months. Well, a month and a bit. My husband doesn't. I don't generally put the cemetery out too far before the 1st of October, so it's about a month. But the fall decorations go up on Labor Day. 'Cause they do. Because of course they do. Okay, 3808. 3799. 38, nope. 3836. So these two I don't have. 3808. 3808-R. 3809. 3809-R. One, two. So, okay. Favorite holiday? Why or why not? I just love it. Just love it. Next one is, what is your death row meal? Like, your last meal, if you knew it was going to be your last meal. Probably something shellfish. Probably lobster. Lobster with lovely garlicky mashed potatoes and a cherry cheesecake for dessert. That would probably be my death row meal. My washing machine isn't draining again. 1 second, I'm gonna go shut off the alarm for it. Sorry about that. I've been fighting with my 8-year-old washing machine. It doesn't like to drain, but every other to every third load, I'm having to take the panel off the bottom and take the filter out and drain it. And there's never anything in the filter. Actually, the very first time I had to do that, there was something in the filter. And after that, it ran fine for a long time. But lately, it's every other or every third load I have to take to turn the thing off. It's locked, so I can't get at what's in the washing machine. I have to unplug it. I have to take the panel off. I have to take the filter out. I have to let it drain, use my shop vac to get all the water out of it. And then dump the shop vac, put everything back together, rerun the load, and it's good for a load or two, and then it does it again. I think I have to replace the pump. And I don't want to do that. It's just such a pain in the ass. But I don't want to replace the washing machine. And I don't want to replace the pump. I think I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and replace the pump. It means trying to track down what the part number is, and then trying to track down the part. Giant pain in the butt. Much easier to just down and paint. Okay. Yes, I tend to wield the screwdriver around here. 3809, 3808, which is turquoise ultra very dark, 3809, which is turquoise very dark. I'm going to need to cut some more bag inserts before I decay the next painting. I will spare you guys that. That is not fun to watch. Okay. Where was I? Do you like going to the movies or prefer watching at home? I love watching movies at home, but there is something special to watching on the big screen, which I have been missing. The drive-in here apparently is opening up. I'm not sure if it has opened or is going to be opening. And if it has, I think we're gonna have to go on a weekend that I have off. And unfortunately I'm working like every weekend. And I don't think, hopefully I will get a weekend off in July. I may actually book one. Because that might be the only way I get one off, because my counterpart, who also works as a cake decorator at my store, is going to be on leave for all of August because her daughter is having a baby. And she wants to be there for the birth, which I don't blame her. So she is going to be far away with her daughter and granddaughter and new baby grandson for most of August. So I probably will not have a weekend off in August. So I may have to book one in July just so that I get one. Because I'm not getting them on my own. 38.47, 38.48. And the last one, 38.65, which is Winter White. There's not much of that left. Oh, I do have 38.55, but it's an asterisk. No, it's 38.35. I'm like, that's purple. What? 38.52. 38.65. No, I don't have that. I have 5200, which is Snow White. 38.65 R. 38.65. That's what I call my pumpkin alarm. That is, you need to take your meds and get stuff ready so that you can go to bed. Otherwise, I will be up to all hours. Because I am, by nature, a nocturnal animal. If left to my own devices and didn't have children and jobs and all that fun stuff, I would probably stay up till 2, 3 in the morning. And then go to bed and then sleep till noon. That's just the way my body likes to function. But I have a husband who works outdoors, so he has to work outdoors early in the morning, and I have 2 kids who can't be trusted to be wandering around the house for too long without supervision. So mommy's gotta suck it up and get up. Okay, so that's that. And that's Jack at the Gates all unboxed. So now I have this guy. Oh, let's take the sticker off the last one. All unboxed and ready for a kids project. I'm gonna get one. And I think we're going up to Given to get some sample diamond paintings because the kids want to make a going away gift for a couple of the teachers that are leaving the school at the end of the school year, which is the end of this week. So I think we're going to be going up to Given tomorrow to get a couple of little Diamond Dot samplers for them. And there's that package that's in Mississauga right now, which is just down the road. So it might be here tomorrow too. So I doubt this will be empty for very long. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to me ramble. We got to question 14, so I can pick that up in the next video. Like the video if you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful for you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell if you'd like to be notified when I upload, because I don't have a consistent schedule, at least not yet. Mostly I upload when I've had a chance to do some video editing, because I'm still new at that and I'm not very good at it, so it takes me a little while. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.